Am I the asshole for reading my teenage daughter's diary? I, male 35, have a 16-year-old daughter. I've been a single father since she was about 3 years old, as I got sole legal custody due to some addiction issues her mother has. We have a really good relationship, but I always worry about her not having a woman to talk to. Over the past few months, she hasn't really seemed to be herself. I know she went through a bad breakup, but I've been worried it's more than that. I tried to talk to her, and my sister only lives down the street, so she's tried talking to her also. But my daughter is really keeping to herself, and it concerns me. She went out to see her friends for the first time since quarantine started yesterday, and asked me if I could give her room a quick tidy while she was gone. I agreed because she does a lot of chores, but she's not good at cleaning her room. While I was putting clothes back in her closet, I stumbled upon what I now know to be her diary. I shouldn't have read past the first page, but I just wanted to know if there was anything going on she wasn't telling me about. There was some pretty heartbreaking stuff for a father to read about, how down she felt about herself, so when she got home, I brought it up to her. She asked me why this was suddenly coming up, and when I told her I read her diary, she absolutely flipped and told me it was an absolute violation of privacy, and she's completely humiliated. I told her I was just trying to protect her, and she said it was none of my business and locked herself in her bedroom and hasn't spoken to me since. Am I the asshole?
Yeah.
It is like a huge invasion of privacy, and I feel like what he's done as well is he's sort of ruined the relationship where she doesn't even feel like she has a chance now to go to him on her own terms and in her own time, because he's just going to invade her privacy. He's going to make it a point to get involved in her life without her asking him to, or without her coming to him for it. And I think that's one of those things that can really damage a relationship in the long term.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know why he read past the first page. Like, dude was like, I shouldn't have, but I did it anyway. Like, why?
Yeah. And then, like, after, like, kind of thinking that, like, that was probably a bad choice, he then proceeded to, like, bring it up to and be like, hey, so, you know, like, what's going on in your life? I just read your whole diary here, like, psh.
Yeah.
What's...
Yeah, for sure. Like, see, one of these, so,
That's
like,
true.
from my
I
perspective,
do appreciate the honesty.
I feel like I understand both sides of it, because, like, for one, invasion of privacy, but then on the other side you have, like, a concerned father, and, I'm not saying that's, like, any grounds to go look through a diary. Like, that was an obvious violation. And, I feel like he knew, you know, he knows that it was, and he did it anyways. But the fact that, like, he went over and, like, was like, alright, now I gotta confront you. I feel like that was, like, the most wrong move. I'm not saying you should have just lied and, you know, said that you didn't go through it, but honestly, with the amount of damage it can have to a relationship, I would say, yeah, it kind of was. I think he probably should have just lied and kept it to himself. Because, I mean, he wanted to figure out what happened in the relationship, and he did. Like, or what happened to her, and why she wasn't acting like herself, and he did, so...
Yeah, I do think too. I didn't really agree with some point in the beginning where he talked about that he felt like his daughter needed like a woman that she could talk to, or like, because I don't like the implication that he, as a father, just because he's a man and not a woman, that he wouldn't be a good source for his daughter to talk to, or not as good as speaking to a woman. I agree there are sometimes there are issues, right, where you want to speak to a woman or you want to speak to a man about those things, but like when it's a relationship between a parent and a child, I don't think that it really matters if like you're a man or a woman. It's really just like, is your relationship with your child good? Like, do they feel comfortable coming to you? And again, like, invading her privacy, confronting her about it like that, he's definitely done some damage to that relationship.
I'd like to say, I feel like it definitely was one of those moments where it's just not the right thing to do. And then, but another thing is, like, from the dad's perspective, I feel like it's hard, because let's be honest, being a parent is hard, but like in general, I feel like he thought it was one of those moments where, like, hey, she might be in over her head, I gotta step in for once. But it was definitely not one of those moments, because I mean, every now and then, yeah, I mean, let's be honest, some kids, they do get in over their heads with some things, but and that's whenever parents typically would step in. This was just not one of them. I mean, I guess we don't have specifics on, like, you know, what was inside her diary, like, but...
Yeah, I'm glad he
didn't. Yeah, that would have been staged. It was already bad the way he did everything, and then, like, how to make it worse. Oh, here's also everything she had going on.
Yeah, no, for sure. Bro just posts her fucking entire life. Oh, yeah, so... Apparently, her boyfriend cheated on her with, her ex-best friend. Blah, 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 like, and he's just like, am I the asshole for reading this? Like...
And posting it to
Reddit.
Reddit.
Am I the asshole for reading my daughter's diary with photos of the diary pages?
Update: am I the asshole for posting the diary photos?
Yeah. Update: she now wants to live with her mother because I kind of posted her entire life story on here. Like,
I feel like there was a reason
Okay.
she wasn't opening up to him in the way he wanted, and like reading the diary was the exact
Yeah.
opposite of helping in that situation.
well, I mean, I feel like in general,
No,
there's
for sure.
sometimes you can't talk to your parents about it.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely, I feel like there are some moments where you're just feeling like you want to keep to yourself, and that's perfectly fine. That's not where your parents need to get involved. I mean, you know, a little distance grows between you and your parents at times throughout the life, and it's not something unnatural.
No, because at some point in time, you can, as the parent, also just say, like, hey, I think my child is struggling with something right now or might be going through something. How about I just schedule them to speak with a counselor for a few sessions and go from there?
No, for
Yeah.
sure.
Because, like, they'll
That-
come to you when they're ready. But if
That
you
or
still just
even,
want them to
like-
have someone to open up to, like, then do that.
No,
I
literally.
mean,
Provide
honestly,
that.
that or like even just like just set aside a day for you to go out with your child and do something that they love to do, and then you know afterwards, you know when you guys are all happy and stuff, you can just be like, well, and you sit them down and you're just like, hey, you know, are you all right? Is thing you talk about? You know, I'm always here for you, type shit. And if they don't open up to you, then you just respect, you know, that they don't want to open up. You know, if they want to later, after you know you've had this great day and they're feeling more confident in telling you about it, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. You know,
Yeah,
feel like
because
it
like
doesn't have to
I'll
be
be
an
like the
invasion.
first to say too, like when it comes to my parents, which neither of them have been like super active type of roles in my life, but like there have definitely been times that I felt more comfortable coming and talking to my dad about something than speaking to my mother about it. And I just want to reiterate, like it has nothing to do with oh, this
Gender.
parent is a man, this parent is a woman, so this child will feel more comfortable with one or the other. Like that's just not the case for
Yeah.
every child.
Yeah. So we all agree the dad's an asshole.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was bro thinking?
Okay, so this next one's title is "Am I the asshole for refusing to help my parents out of their financial situation?"
No.
Oh, okay, Kev. All right. But
I'm
anyways.
pretty happy, alright?
So here's the background. As the eldest daughter, I experienced adult responsibilities early. I love my parents. They sacrificed so much to move from their homeland so my sister and I could have a better life and access to education. We've always had a rocky relationship and don't seem to connect fundamentally. Despite their own dreams and health challenges, they worked manual labor jobs for the majority of their lives to keep us in the country. This is a sacrifice that I've always been aware of and felt a responsibility to honor from a young age. I worked to help financially and excelled in school to get scholarships. They have faced immense hardships, including disownment from their families, legal issues, and abusive upbringings. Overwhelmed, my parents became depressed and complacent. They missed emails relating to my sister's college applications, resulting in her missing out on opportunities, and were slow to take the initiative to sort the ongoing issues with our residence status. I took on many of their duties and felt that no matter how often I told them I was stressed out with managing the family, they would never really fully change. The problem is that my parents are undocumented, which means they can't get stable, well-paying jobs. They struggle to manage our household finances, especially as they get older and can't do physically demanding work. I've been supporting them financially since high school as a waitress to now. I hope to support them until they recovered from debts, saved enough for legal status, and became independent. However, I've sacrificed a lot, missing out on typical teenage and college experiences, taking on responsibilities like attending my sister's parent-teacher conferences, and suffering academically due to burnout. We've been experiencing intense family conflicts, leading me to stop sending money and reduce contact. There wasn't a single triggering event. I'm just exhausted and overwhelmed by the constant hurt and complicated emotions. When I ask them what the long-term plan is, they offer uncertain answers, simply saying they'll manage. This isn't about money. It's about wanting parents who can manage their own lives. I desire for them to be happy and independent, so I don't have to worry constantly. I'm frustrated that I must put my life on hold indefinitely for their problems. As they age, their reliance on me will only increase. I've never had a year where I could focus solely on myself, set my own course without this pressure. I love them so much despite everything that has happened, and I'm not angry with them. I feel guilty for leaving them in this mess, and fear that I've failed in my duty, but maintaining the situation is too overwhelming. Am I the asshole?
Immediately, no.
No, for real.
Yeah, no, they're not. I
Yeah.
feel like you can't just like put your own life on hold for your family. Like, you know what I mean? That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Just putting their own life on hold, putting all this financial burden on themselves. Like, you're gonna be in the long run like struggling even more. Like, no one's gonna go
Yeah.
anywhere in life if you're like reliant on your kids, and if you're gonna help your parents that much. Like, it's not gonna
Yeah.
help anyone. Really, just not.
Well,
It's
I
just
feel
gonna be
like
this
I feel
endless
like
cycle.
it's trained her to succeed in her own life because she's been having to manage all this stuff from when she was little,
Mhm.
but
No, for
it's
sure.
not helping her now. Like, if you're gonna continue to take care of them, it's just a really big deficit for like any finances, future relationships that you may make, anything like that. And so it's just a detriment to any future that she has because and then she feels it's that trouble of feeling responsible for them, you know, wanting to not disappoint them. You might just have to let them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just also like such a huge burden to just like get placed on you. Like, what do you
Yeah.
like? Literally, their situation is definitely like challenging for everyone kind of involved. But like, man, to be born just kind of like to basically carry the family just like because you were born and like have legal status in like the country, like that sucks.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a hard decision because it's like I don't know who will take care of them, and I don't know if they'd manage by themselves, you know. But the other sister that they have was saying that they be going to college as well, and so I feel like maybe she could take up the burden for a bit, teach them how to be, you know, stable on their own. But even then, that's like a big ask for somebody else too. But yeah, I don't think she's the asshole. I feel like that's just it's a tricky situation.
Definitely. I think it's one of those situations where no matter what you do, you're going to feel bad because if she stays and she continues to be like a pillar for everyone else and the support for everyone else, she'll be drowning. But if she
Mhm.
leaves, like to leave and to leave everyone behind and to try and make it on your own, and even like when you are succeeding or when you're doing better on your own, that is to feel an overwhelming amount of guilt.
Yeah, that's just it though. It's like it's because she's already taken like the responsibility in her mind for them, so it's hard for her to let go of it and just be fine with, you know, not being around.